The opinions in this podcast are all our own.
But the businesses are real chamber members.
It's a chamber chat.
Coming to you from Wahoo, Nebraska. Chamber Chat with Kate
And Kat.
Welcome to Chamber Chat with Kate.
And Kat. I'm Catherine Nygren, owner of Found and Flora Flower Shop.
And I'm Kate DeCoste, owner of Kate DeCoste Photography. This podcast is everything Wahoo Chamber of Commerce.
Well, Kate, we have another guest in the studio.
We sure do.
Yeah, today it's Melissa Harrell. She is the city administrator for the city of Wahoo.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I think it's good to get the info right from the source.
Right.
Okay. I'll do my best.
Right. So tell us about your new office. I hear you've moved.
Yeah.
Yes, we have moved. So City Hall has been located at 605 North Broadway since the beginning of City Hall in Wahoo. And so we are getting ready to make some changes to that building, and we have been able to lease a space at 608 North Linden, which is the same building where Inspro or Marsh McClellan Insurance used to be, and adjacent to the First Interstate Bank.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah. We have moved in there, and moving was an adventure, to say the least.
Did you find all kinds of fun stuff in the basement while you were?
We did actually find a lot of fun things. Yes, we. One thing we came across, just an interesting note, is I guess when City Hall, the original City Hall, was built in like 1959. It was during the Cold War, and so the facility was built to be very it's got the bomb shelter. Placards in the basement, right? And we came across a radioactive detection kit that was in there. And so we went through the process of declaring that a surplus, and we've turned it over to the museum because I think they're intending to use it in some sort of exhibit. But through the years, we've found a few things like that in the building. But yes, we have successfully moved into the new location. And I think it's taken a little bit of time for the public to get used to that. But yeah, we're doing our best to communicate that with the public. And on the utility side of things, we have a drop box that's in the alley north of the post office. So if you're going to pull in that alley to drop your mail off, there's a drop box before you get to the mailbox that says Wahoo Utilities on it. And so that's been a little bit of a question and some change, but yeah.
Yeah. And I think because it's right by the chamber office, and some people have gotten confused of they think they need to go into that old drive-through that used to be for the phone booth for the phone company. And that's where Teresa and Jen park. So they have had people pull in behind their parked cars, not knowing they were parked cars.
Right. They thought they were in line to drop off their utility bills.
And then they are like, why aren't these cars moving? And then they go in, and so then Teresa and Jen let them know. But yeah, so it is just, you're dropping off your mail.
Right. It's in that little median where the chamber has planted flowers and stuff. We stuck the post right in there. And,
And you have it says Wahoo Utilities on it, right?
Does,
yeah. I was like, I know it had a nice little, the logo and everything is on there. So.
Yeah, and we checked out a couple of times a day, first thing in the morning, and then periodically throughout the day. So yeah. But as far as our new space, we're getting settled in. We're pretty packed in there, and we're not able to do any of the city council meetings in that setting, which we had kind of moved away from doing that a few years back in the library. But we do have, I'm happy to say that I have walls that go to the ceiling.
Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting for me as a city administrator.
Very luxurious to have a private conversation.
Yes,
it is.
Yes.
But that really speaks to one of the reasons why we need to do something with the old city hall that we're calling the one at 605 North Broadway. There is asbestos in that building. We've had it identified. And I think it was maybe the early 80s, it was encapsulated like it's supposed to be in the ceiling. But that encapsulated asbestos in the ceiling prevented us from connecting anything up, right? And so when we did the remodel of the old library space into our the previous facilities, we couldn't take the walls all the way to the ceiling. So
Got it.
and truthfully, it's like a megaphone up to the ceiling, right? In there.
Yes.
And so I would always tell people, if you have something that you don't want all the other staff members in the office to hear, we have to get up and walk to the back where the old council chambers will be and pull this wall across and it basically was an announcement like, hey, we're going to have a private conversation.
Don't look over here.
Yeah, look over here.
Yes.
And that's fine for some things, but when you're talking with sometimes your staff, that makes it, like what's going on? People want to know what's happening.
Right.
So that's a good thing about this.
Yes. Well, I also just feel like just for your work environment, like if you're just like needing quiet time, like I need
zoned in.
Like I need to,
sure.
But then you're hearing other things. Like I am one, I can, but I'm going to be like, oh, what are they talking? There's something might catch my ear, and then I'm not going to be.
It's distracting.
Yes,
you lose focus. Yeah. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Option too. I have closed my door a few times, right?
Oh,
and been able to leave me alone.
Yeah.
The world.
That's okay. To do work.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Not to crawl under my desk and take a nap, right? To do work, yes.
So you guys moved there, and then the police department also made a move in this same to kind of clear out that whole building.
Right.
So they are over behind Burger King. Is that correct?
Yes, to the east of Burger King. I think the address is 216 East 3rd or something along those lines. Yeah, and I will tell you that this conversation about a remodel of City Hall is something that has been going on for a long time.
Oh, I'm sure.
The original structure was built and it housed the police department, the city and utility administration, the city council, the library, and the fire department. And so if you start...
And when you think of that, like when you look at that building and you're naming off all of these things that housed there, like...
It's not that big.
I mean, and it was like that when I was a kid. And it's like the fact that all of those things were there.
Yeah.
It's
well, and it
astounding.
speaks to how our community has changed since that structure was built, right?
Sure.
So the first to go was the fire department. They built their new fire hall. I think that was in maybe 99 or 2000. And then the library built their own structure. And following that, we, with our own staff, did a remodel of the inside of that piece of the building. And the intent was always to do something with the police department. But time always slips through your fingers, and we just could never get it figured out. And so we're at a point now. We had an opportunity to purchase the old Wahoo Chiropractor.
I think
that sounds right. Yeah.
Building that had already been converted to offices. It was located in close proximity to the Saunders County Judicial Center, right? And so there's a lot of cooperation that happens with the sheriffs and the police department.
Sure.
So that was really the first piece. And then we were looking for, where's City Hall going to go? Because at the end of the day, that asbestos has to come out no matter what that facility ends up being.
Right.
And the only way to do that is to have everyone completely vacate the building.
Right.
So,
Right.
And we had a few other opportunities and conversations about other spaces, but this space came open, the price was right, and so we moved forward with that. So now we're moving into the next piece of that project and programming what that space is going to be. And we are looking at a public safety facility. So because the fire department is close by and our EMS services have really expanded. We have full-time paramedics 24/7.
Wow.
And because our police department needed such an improvement to the space. So the goal is to turn that into a public safety facility.
Okay.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And now a message from one of our chamber champions.
Hey, Kat, you know what keeps me going on a podcast recording day?
Let me guess. Could it be a delicious, fast, and friendly cup of coffee?
You got it. And no one does it better than Scooter's Coffee right here in Wahoo.
Oh, absolutely. And they're family owned and operated, and they serve more than just coffee. They serve our community with a smile.
And let's talk about speed. Whether you need a quick pick-me-up or you're on your way to an event, they've got the fastest coffee in town.
Plus, the people at Scooters are just the best. They make every stop feel warm and welcoming.
100%. So, if you haven't yet, scoot on around today for an amazing drink, amazing people, and service that's amazingly fast.
Scooters Coffee, family owned, locally loved.
So this is like a long-term plan then that you guys are creating, kind of moving these pieces around and kind of ultimately shape like the new face of the city administration in Wahoo.
Yeah, and like I said, it's kind of all been brewing and there's conversations, and when I tell you that we have analyzed about 100 different options, that is not an exaggeration, right? The city council and internally our staff, we've talked about a lot of different options. So this vacating city hall and moving into different locations is step one. Redoing the city hall to be a public safety facility is sort of the first result of this move. So then the question comes, well, where's city hall going to go, right? So in our conversations, and I would encourage people to reach out to Kevin Stewart if they have questions about all of the options that we've evaluated on a new civic center, because that's been something we've talked about.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So the idea right now is that a civic center would be reconstructed. We'd, of course, save the gym, because we know that is a beloved part of the community, right? There's lots of memories.
Right.
I think if you go in the workout room, I don't think Kevin has painted over all of the signatures that are up on the wall, but yeah, clear on the back. There's but we do recognize that that's a very important piece. And then when that gets completed, then the plan right now would be for City Hall to be located on that block.
Okay.
Along with a reconstruction of senior facilities, a thrift store, because those are all really important pieces of our community as well. So those pieces of it are still a little gray.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. And we know that there's a lot of conversations that have to happen with the public, particularly about how we're going to fund it. Right. That's a really big question.
Right.
But we also know that literally for years we've been talking about doing something, and you can't get started. You can't get to the end unless you start.
Right. Step one.
Right.
So we got to start somewhere, and that's what we've done.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes sense, and it's exciting.
It is
to
exciting.
think of, having, because I feel like too, it can be that thing where you're like, well, this is what we want the end to be, but it's like, ugh, that's a lot.
Right.
But I'm excited that you've started.
Right. And, optimistically, in 3 to 5 years, we were well on our way into new facilities. That's optimistic.
I was just going to ask you if there's a timeline attached to any of this.
Right. Yes. And I go back as I was kind of looking at the Civic Center particularly, and you go back to when our Park and Rec program, the Civic Center, began. The people of Wahoo voted to make improvements to that building. They voted to support a Civic Center program. They wanted the facility. They wanted the services that provided. And so fast forward, I think Kevin said we'll be 50 years soon with the Civic Center. And it's time to have the conversation about what do we want our future to look like? What do we want to continue this service? Because I think if you ask anyone, or most people anyway, in this community, it's definitely been something that's been great to have here. And
it's
I don't know. Do you have any
I think
stories
so.
about the Civic Center?
Well, when you were saying about the gym, the one thing that came, I played Wahoops when I was little, but where the stage was, they had gymnastics in there. I remember doing gymnastics there.
Wow.
So it would be very weird if that did get torn down. So I think it's great
that is not an option.
That'll stay.
Yes.
But I love what I know what everything was in this town as a kid, and the things, the improvements of things, but also keeping, how you're saying, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Keeping the history alive.
Right.
That's,
And just to emphasize a point that you just made, you've seen the changes in your life of the facilities. So if you start ticking off the facilities, you look at the hospital. You look at the jail and the law enforcement center. There's improvements that have been made there. And you can just start going down the list. The schools have made improvements. The swimming pool has made improvements. But nothing has been done to City Hall or the police department and our civic center. While it functions, it's not set up for the next 20 to 25 years of our community. So that's really what we're looking at. We know it's a big project to undertake. It's a lot. There's going to be some hurdles and some challenges, but yeah, that's what we're looking at. So
Well, and if you've ever been, I think it was when we were doing, it was something with like the Christmas thing. We were using the chief for stuff, and I went into the police department, and I had not been in the police department since I was a kid. When my grandpa was on, and
I was going to say your grandpa was in the police department, wasn't he?
Like the same. Like, it was very weird that it looked the same, but also like it. I mean, that was bad that it looked the same.
Yeah, and truthfully, it's you look back and evaluate how did we manage this. Well, we're getting by, right? It's barely functioning, and I'm kind of ashamed to say that that's where our police department, who provides so many great things to the community, has been working.
Sure.
But we need to move forward, and we want to create a space that's respectful of the jobs that they do, that makes them feel like true professionals in our community. And honestly, I believe that it will help in recruiting in the future, right? For people to pick Wahoo as a place where they want to be employed. So
Sure. And I'm sure the biggest challenge is these are all functioning 24/7 entities. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just, like, when we talk about schools, like, upgrading, like, they can take the summer and they can, like, close down and they can work on stuff. Like, we're talking about, like, city government, like,
you don't close down.
You don't shut that off to make these changes. And so I'm sure that added a whole nother challenge of how do we...
We got to keep functioning and doing our job. While shuffling around. Just a side note, a few years ago, I got to be part of an exchange program through the Nebraska City Managers Association, and I got to go to Norway. It was sponsored by UNO, and there's a couple professors that do studies back and forth. But in Norway, what I learned over there when I was there is that they actually they have no council meetings during the summer because everyone goes on holiday. We could adopt that here.
I'm sure Chris wouldn't mind.
We're on holiday.
But it's that program has been a lot of fun because there's been Norwegian city administrators come to Nebraska and host them and show them around, and there's always a lot of questions and a lot of idea exchanging. So
that's awesome.
Right.
It's very eye-opening.
Side note.
No, that's great.
It's a great side note.
Yeah.
So beyond the big shuffling of offices, what else is going on in the city world these days?
So I'm sure, I think we made an announcement, and I know it's been talked about on the council meetings. We were awarded a downtown revitalization grant, which is through the Community Development Block Grant Program that Department of Economic Development manages. It's HUD funds, right? And so we are in the process of getting all of our special conditions met to get that grant agreement.
Okay.
We're trying to be proactive in we went through a selection process to select a consultant to help us with that planning piece. And so we have that completed. And once we're able to get our grant agreement and special conditions met, then we'll be moving forward with that. So we'll be reaching out to the downtown to help us in that planning effort. So,
yes.
Nice. And when you talk about downtown and revitalization, what all could that include?
So there is a big focus with those revitalization programs on specifically businesses and how can we come up with a plan to help businesses improve their storefronts or address, access issues, or I'm trying to think other things that might be useful to businesses, but to make improvements to their brick and mortar facilities.
Okay.
There's also a conversation about how can we beautify or better our downtown to make it more attractive to draw more people in. So it's kind of twofold. There's a little bit of infrastructure, there's a little bit of business, and that, I think it's really about defining what we want our downtown to be, what we want it to look like, what our, how we can draw more people in, and laying out a plan. And because DED's guidelines on it, they very much want to see the specific projects that can be done from small projects to big projects, so that when the plan is done, we can start going down and check, we've done that, check, we've done that, check, So, and they can come from, those check marks can come from all different, whether it's businesses, chamber, Greater Wahoo, the city, right? We're all sort of now rowing the boat in the same direction. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. So
yeah, I feel like, when you say anything like beautifying, like I
yes,
feel
you have my attention.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's a place that I follow on social media that talks about like beauty isn't like an extra, like that's like a core necessity. Like you think about the places that you want to hang out in, the places you want to visit, they're all beautiful places, right? Like we don't want to go to a place that's not pretty, and like just like civic pride and just, how you feel about a place is really
aesthetics of it. How does that? How does it hit you when you walk into the space? And is it welcoming, or does it, is it intimidating?
Oh,
how do you feel when you, because that's what's going to make you come back. Yeah.
And it's going to make you want to like care for those places, for being a citizen, like you want to like take care of things that are nice,
Right.
Like if it's kind of like gets sort of run down or whatever, you're like, like you kind of give like a sense of apathy. But if it's pretty and you want to take care of it,
and it really is about, like, how do you get the ball rolling? And I think we've got the ball rolling, but now how do you keep the ball rolling, right? And make it better.
Right. Right. So. Well, and you kind of like going with that too is when you are living somewhere, sometimes you just don't see things.
Right.
But then when you go, say, to another town or whatever, and you're like, oh wow, like because you're looking,
right?
Because you've never been there.
You're not nose blind.
Yeah. So then I'm like, oh, this could be.
I think when we were getting ready for Found in Flora's inclusion in the passport program, right? The Nebraska passport program brought someone in and said, be a tourist in your own town, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a good for all of us to have, like, be critical with our own eyes, but also see the good things that we've done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah.
That's. There was actually a group of city administrators, and we're all across the state. There's not any one of us that are not busy, right? Sure. Whether your town is thriving or you're struggling to figure out how to remain a vibrant community, we're all very busy. We used to have a group that would do that, right? Drive around from town to town and sort of make notes and be critical, with a visitor's eye. But yeah, we can do that internally with our own people, right?
Well, and I think of our with our town, we're very competitive with, say, sports. And I love that when we had the new our We Are Wahoo branding slogan, like it's kind of that thing of like when you come into town, like, yeah, we are Wahoo, and you wanna, for some people, you want to be like, yeah, you're jealous that you're not, right? When you come.
Yeah. No, and to that point, I think I said this to you earlier. When I go to state meetings, like the League of Nebraska Municipalities host meetings or whatever, Wahoo is in an envious position of many communities because of our location. And they're like, you got it going on. You have a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening. I just talked with someone who picked Wahoo to move in. Why did you move here? They have family connections. We're close to the airport in Omaha, so or Lincoln, get out easily. And there's just so many great things about the community. The trails and the quality of life and the schools and all of the things and so I think to your point about looking in, it's important for us all to like instead of being critical all the time, to look at the positives.
Right.
I don't know if I'm getting my point across at all, but
no, I think you are. And you kind of like said the word thriving when you were talking about something else, and it is that thing, like, just keep us, like, again, don't be critical all the time, but we can always just thrive, and you can thrive in a positive way, in a way to keep us
right.
Amplified.
I go back to some of the conversation we had, and someone gave the example, and I think maybe it was Teresa, when we're talking about the competitiveness of the community, but also the protectiveness of the community. And she's like, she grew up in a big family, or someone else said this, like, you put a plate of fried chicken down on the table, and you act fast and you're competitive for getting that. But if someone from the outside came in to take one of those pieces, you might fight internally, but you're going to defend to the outside.
Yes.
Maybe that's not a great example. But do you remember a little bit of that conversation?
Yeah, I was on that branding committee. And they did a lot of interviews for like stakeholders in town, like all different ages, all different income levels, all different professions. And like the reoccurring thing was like, Wahoo is like, we're competitive, but we protect.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's very
like you can come at me because you're from here, but if someone from outside comes at me, you're going to have my back, and you're going to have my back and defend us, right? And I think that is something unique about our community. For sure.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
And they even said as much, you know, this firm that did the logo, you know, they do these interviews for all kinds of towns, and like Wahoo was very unique. And another thing I think was interesting from that conversation was like when we talk about celebrities, it was kind of like, who would you rep? Like one of the questions in this interview was like, if you could pick anybody to rep your town, who would it be? You know, and most towns like pick like celebrities, like the interviews that they conducted, people were picking like local Wahoo people. Well, I want so and so. Like,
oh,
you
wow.
know, and like they said that was completely like they had never seen that before, where you were picking like your own people to rep your town, not like, oh, I want George Clooney to rep my town.
Right.
You know,
that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of a fun conversation to be a part of.
Yeah,
for sure.
I like that.
So what else is going on in Wahoo? I'm trying to think. I know that the utilities are just going out for bids on a utility looping project. So to create a connection from our well that we have out by the hospital up to the water tower.
Okay.
So inside the expressway loop, there's Ryan's calling it a utility looping redundancy project. Just improves not only, if nothing ever develops, it's still improving our redundancy of services for everyone in this town.
Okay.
But it also puts us in a pretty good position for those areas to develop further. So,
yeah. Nice.
But I'll let him explain more on that.
Yeah, we'll have to have Ryan on again. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll get an invite sent to hear more about that project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's always like we've talked about like the information that we see online, you know, that people chat, like the chatter on Facebook or anything like that. And the big things were like, why is City Hall moving? Why is the police department moving? And all of that. And I think that was one of the reasons we were like, sure, let's get you on. And I feel like this will be if you're okay with it, an ongoing thing where we're like, hey, Melissa, like, let's have you on and chat about so people get the right information. And
yeah, I think that's probably one of my biggest struggles / frustrations is getting out accurate information. We are in a society where some people only rely on social media for their information, and we still have a handful of people that solely rely on newspaper. Right.
Right.
Well, and there's a whole lot in between that. How do we effectively communicate what we're doing, why we're doing it, with the members of the residents of our town? So, I guess I would just encourage people to check out the website. Granted, it's not the most beautiful thing, but that's one of the projects we have on our list is upgrading that website and making it more user friendly. But we do try to put out some good information on there. We do pretty actively post on our City of Wahoo Facebook page. And if neither one of those work, give us a call. My door is pretty much open all the time, and I always look for the chance to offer explanation if people have questions. So
Sure.
Nice.
yeah.
Well, yay.
So no excuse not to be plugged in.
Yeah.
And I know everyone has a lot going on, but truthfully, local government, I got to make my plug for local government.
Yeah. Right?
Yes, please.
Local government is government that's the most close to you, right? So if you play out your day, review your day, right? You get up in the morning and you go to the bathroom. Well, why are you able to flush the toilet? It's because of Wahoo Utilities. You turn on the water, it's because of Wahoo Utilities. You turn on the lights, same thing. Your house is warm. You drive on the street. You slept soundly at night because you knew if you needed emergency health services, right? Your EMTs would be there. Your police department would be there. And all of those are things that local government provides, right? So that, I guess I would love for people to understand that a little more thoroughly and be willing to get involved to make sure that those pieces of our lives stay together, right? There's always, we always get, just now at the legislature, there's conversations going on about, well, why are property taxes so high? And I understand property taxes are a lot for everyone, right? It's not our fault, right?
Right.
How do we provide the service if we don't have, I'm getting a little political here, but property taxes are an important piece of how we're able to provide these services. And so I just ask that people really think about what you get, right? And as we individually, I could never pay to have someone provide fire service to my house 24/7 or law enforcement. As a community,
Right.
we can all afford it.
Right.
So one of the little visuals that I put out, and I think it's on the city's website, is for an average priced valued home, which I think is 300,000-ish in Wahoo. You're actually paying less in city property taxes than what most people pay for their internet and cable bills.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So,
That's
you
eye-opening.
add Hulu and Netflix and TikTok and your internet and all of those things, and you're paying more per month for that than you are paying for all of the governmental services that the city provides, the library, the civic center, the parks. So
That were, I just did, I don't know, this is kind of going off topic. Well, not off topic, I guess not. I was the photographer for the show choir event that happened last weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And there were kids and adults like going down like flies because I think there was this sickness, whatever. But there was one show had to stop because a kid passed out backstage. And I remember like they had closed the curtain and everything, did all of that. But I saw it was I think it was within 10 minutes. I saw that I don't know if it was an EMT, fire department, whatever, because they were going to call. They were already there. And in my head, like I was just, sitting with all these other kids around me. And in my head, I was just like, I'm so glad we're in Wahoo. Like that it's a small town that they can get there that quickly and that they were, and they were there.
Right,
And that kid was getting the care that they needed.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are very lucky in that regard. We have people who provide great service and genuinely care about the outcome for the person that they're helping, for sure. So,
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, this is awesome. So thank you. And again, we'll have you back.
Definitely. I like to share about the city of Wahoo. So
And there's a lot going on these days.
There is
there's always a lot going on.
Yeah.
So it's always good to hear about those projects.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And everybody listening or watching, thank you for listening or watching. And don't forget
to keep it local, friends.
This has been a Chamber Chat
with Kate.
and Kat.
See you next time.